I want people to hear it. Is it working? We're here?
Yeah,
Hello,
I'm up.
Internet.
Looks
We're
like it's
back.
up.
Okay, Austin, tell your story now.
Man,
About
So-
your girlfriend. Your ex-girlfriend.
iTunes
Wait.
says, "God damn it, I want to play Heart of the Swarm. I wish Blizz hadn't banned me. My account got hacked and Blizzard banned it."
You can usually call them up and fix that. Because
Yeah,
my
but why
account
did
got
they ban
banned
you?
too, and then I just called them up and they unbanned it.
I want to know why they banned him.
Okay, no, so tell us your story for real this time.
Oh no, this is so. The last time that back when I used to write about video games on the internet for OneLastContinue.com, which is now gone, which is back when Phil actually first read my junk and we started talking on the interweb.
Yes.
A dude from IGN, a community manager at IGN, told me that he was going to. I'm looking for the quote here. He said that I should watch out, or IGN could come after me for slander, and the journalism police might arrest me for not knowing my facts or the internet. And that's a person who has a job at IGN.com, or who had a job at IGN.com.
And that person was Arthur Geese.
Was Arthur
Dun, dun,
Geese.
dun.
Right, that's the big twist. I don't know, that was just a weird time in my life, and every time I think about that stuff, every time I think about the stuff that's like,
God damn it.
people bitching at Polygon for changing their review score, and you and I had a brief talk about this, Phil, that I'm not like, I have my own comments on that shit, but like,
You're
I'm
a
like,
hater. You're a fucking
I'm
hater.
a hater.
I
No,
think
I'm
it's
not a
great.
hater.
I think SimCity sounds like a 4 right now.
Yeah.
If you can't play it,
No, that's not my beef. So my beef is not at all that changed the score. My beef is 100% that the context that we live in right now requires a digital publication to run a review on a digital product that there will not be a lack of before that product is released. That sucks. Like, it sucks that you guys had to run a 9.5 days before the game was released.
I'm fine with that. I don't think that sucks.
I mean, they didn't have to.
No, they didn't. You didn't. But they do, because that's like the way it operates. Like, and I don't think it's unethical in the sense that, like, I don't think that you're misleading people. I don't think there's bribes. I don't think there's money hats. I'm not crazy. There's no chemtrails here.
Well, you're a little crazy.
Well, a little
Not
bit.
in this specific instance, though.
Sure.
But
There are at least smoke trails because Arthur is a heavy weed smoker.
right, he's
Yeah.
big into the weed.
You'd think he'd be calmer about things if that was the case.
Jays fan says Anthony Gallegos is streaming SimCity right now. It works. Put the score back up.
See, like,
It's not working right now. They still have shit that they took out of the game, like
right.
Yeah, they
it's
took out
like
cheat
actual
modes.
features that they removed
Yeah.
from the game.
Oh, wow.
I think regional trading is still busted. Like, there's plenty of reason to knock
Yeah.
that game further. But yeah, so for me, what it comes down to is, if I was a dude, and I'm not that dude, because I knew what I was getting into and still spent my stupid money. But if I was a dude who read a 9.5 and then bought the game, and then on day one it was dropped to an 8, and I cared about scores, like, I'm not that person, but I can conceive of that person, I'd be bummed, is what it comes down to. I would be like,
To be
hey,
fair, in our original review, we literally
there's a sidebar.
we
There is a
accounted
sidebar.
for the fact that, like, we don't know if servers will be working. We're gonna be we were straight up
I
with,
get
like,
that. Totally.
they
Like,
worked for us, maybe they won't. We don't know.
I'm not.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
said, I'm not-
ultimately the blame lies with EA there, I think.
completely does. No, it completely does. And it's one of those. This is one of those things that's going to have to be worked out as this becomes more and more of a thing.
Yeah.
That for me, and again, I've said this before. Like, I'm glad I'm not the person who has to make this decision, right? Because I know my readers want that information, want to know what I think. My theoretical, hypothetical readers that don't exist. But if I was Arthur, I would know that my readers wanted to know what we thought about that game. But again, materially, they're going to go somewhere for that information. I get that. You want to serve them well. But if you know there could be a problem because it's the server stuff, why not wait to run it until the day it's out? Is kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I get
because
that.
we have the ability to change our scores. That's why that's why
that's
another
true.
site would not want to run it. But
Yeah.
because we have that ability, we like.
But what's the reader get by reading it a day early? What my question is.
Not to mention, I mean, it sounds silly, and I'm sure you guys are not super concerned with this kind of thing, but like Metacritic only takes one score.
Yeah, Metacritic needs to update that bullshit. That's on them. They need
I understand. I totally understand.
They have a good reason for it, and I get it.
Yeah, I use their reasoning too.
I wish that reason didn't have to exist, but I understand why it does.
The reason like
their reason is that they want to protect writers.
Right.
They don't want publishers like coming after a writer after a score goes up and be like, "Hey, get this score up so that we can increase our Metacritic." You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. That's totally. I understand that.
By the way, someone in the chat said Slenderman the 8 blog posts, which I thought was pretty good. And also someone in the chat pointed out, and I meant to say this before we got caught up in this discussion, that this part of the game is super hard.
Yeah, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm really doing.
I think you have to take... I don't know.
This looks like an arena situation, where you're going to have to not punch some guys until they're dead. But this also looks like the way video games end. Like, I'm pretty sure I've been in this level in a video game within the last year. So
it's a lot like a level in Saints Row 3.
This also looks like the end of Syndicate. Like, yeah, this is a lot of video games.
I love the way this game looks.
Like giant server room with shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, giant server room with shootout, man.
Scronto says, I beat this but don't remember this part at all. Moses Spippy says I have to shoot all this around. I can't shoot them! I can't!
You can just run up and hit them with your arms.
Can I? Does that do anything?
Yeah, it looks like it makes them go... Or maybe you can make them shoot them?
Like, they're definitely shooting some of them.
Yeah. That's how it would be in a movie version of this. You would just, like, run past the servers and the guards would shoot at the servers and...
Emotional Hobo says, so I can go back and play Diablo 2 right now. Could I do the same thing with Diablo 3 this long from now? And I would say yeah.
Well, that's a different case because it's Blizzard. I would say yes. If it's EA, if it's EA and SimCity, I would say no.
Yeah,
that's true. I don't know.
But I mean,
it's crazy right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not interested in SimCity, but not for anything online related.
Yeah, it's because you don't like a game.
No, it's because I love SimCity games, and this is a SimCities game where you have to like manage multiple cities and have them work together. I don't give a shit about that. I want a mega opolis, like Judge Dredd style, with all tall buildings that I force citizens to live in and use my awesome subway system that I've designed.
I partially agree with you. I actually think the idea of having regions of multiple cities and sharing resources and each city region only having certain types of resources. I think that stuff all sounds really cool. I'm just really disappointed by the city size.
Yeah, that too. And like the thing that's interesting there is part of the reason the city size is so small is because it's so resource intensive. And part of the reason that the cheetah mode went away was because the cheetah mode is enabled by some of the simulation being run on the server and not locally. And like that's the problem with making this stuff local. There's not a switch that they can hit. There's not going to be like, oh, well, here's this 512 KB file that you can just download to put it into offline mode now. Like it's part of it is being run on the server, and that's where it gets super tricky with what people are asking in the chat, which is like, in 10 years will I be able to run this?
I guess they did say, like, EA said they're going to look into the possibility of doing it at some point in the future.
Yeah, I hope they do.
Duder McBrohan offers you advice, Phil. He says, call Zobek.
Yeah.
Shooting a gun.
Wait, are you shooting a gun?
Yeah, somebody in the chat room told me to shoot a gun.
No.
Oh.
He said you just can't shoot people, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if he's telling the truth, but if he's not, then he just fucked up my whole run. So. Also, this gun still isn't hurting this thing at all.
Yeah, at all. He's
not
a
even a little.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna look up the internet.
They want me to go up the stairs, except for there's dudes shooting me on those stairs.
Walk through.
Yeah, I want a big city. I don't want these little shitty
The nice thing is,
I don't want to be forced into multiplayer with people I don't.
And you don't want to run multiple cities.
But you don't have to. You don't have to play in multiplayer, but you have to be online.
Yeah. And you have to play if you want to have like a really thriving economy in that game. Well, you're gonna have to play multiple regions or multiple.
Yeah,
cities
you can just play multiple cities in your own fighter region.
That sucks though. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
I guess I get it, but you can make a bigger city in SimCity Societies than you can in SimCity 5.
I actually like SimCity Societies, so...
Me too! It's a fun game.
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
What sucks is I feel like this game would have benefited from a name like that, but I guess they were really counting on it being a
Call
big
the
deal.
goddamn thing SimCity Online, call it a pay no sub MMO, and then no one would have freaked out about the server.
Yeah.
No one would have bought it, right?
But I think, like...
Maybe they would have.
There are some problems with SimCity, but I also think this is just where games are going. Just more games are going to be like this.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't going to be a special case. Like, calling things such and such online is so 2003.
Yeah.
Because everything's online now.
Yeah. Especially since so much of it is just not only the social stuff, but the actual processing stuff. Because that keeps happening. I don't know.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't want to be the dude who doesn't like it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be the dude who's like.
You can let me be that. That's okay.
Okay. Heat Drive 88 explains that I just need to smash one server per cluster. Fucking video games, dude. Fucking.
Oh, you had to smash the server?
Obscure.
Did anybody say that at any point?
No, it just says to shoot the servers, not
yeah, he said like
one server per thing. It's not very descriptive.
Video games are the worst.
And like, the other server, after you smash one, the other servers just stop getting injured, which is like a weird... It's a video game, is what I'm saying.
It's because the server injury physics modeling is actually all done in the cloud, and you turn this game offline, so...
Sure.
Mirror's Edge 2 always online, DRM.
I'd probably still play it.
Well, that's like my favorite thing. Go ahead.
Apparently someone at Maxis or something, I don't know, I heard this on the Bombcast, they said that part of the reason the city sizes were so small was because I guess they were claiming that they had to make the game playable on, you know, like certain low-end specs for PCs, and part of doing that was having a low city size. I don't really...
Yeah.
I don't know how much I believe that, but...
I don't believe that. I just don't.
It's still not very playable on low-end specs, too.
It's not playable on low-end specs, and SimCity Societies have bigger cities, so...
So does your health regenerate in this game, or is it...
it totally does.
Okay.
What am
Good.
I think I've smashed one in each cluster now.
I think you did too.
Unless there's like clusters I'm
missing. Just escape up top. Just go up top now.
There's like a dude with a giant gun right in the middle.
Yeah.
Hey, so Phil, I'm noticing actually,
what's up?
Just is that, you know, you were saying that you didn't realize you only had to break one server, but I'm seeing now that once you break one of the servers, the red lights on all of them go out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man, there are like a ton of dudes upstairs. I don't know how you're gonna get up there, man.
It's
I believe in you, but
it's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, it's a good point. Jay's fan brings up about SimCity is that
so close.
Making the game playable on lower end systems isn't as simple as lowering the graphic detail because,
I saw that,
because so much of it is simulation on the CPU end.
And that's why it's great, but it's like that's part of. I just don't care about this new SimCity, so I don't give a shit what one individual sim is doing in the city. I don't care that I can watch Joe Schmo take a shower.
You're a hater.
I want to simulate a giant city, which is why I play Cities XL and Cities in Motion.
Right.
Cities XL is pretty good.
It's the sort of a thing a designer who that like the idea that everything in the city is represented in the simulation, that there isn't anything abstract, there isn't just a calculation happening, is deeply rooted in like a very specific sort of designer like philosophy that I don't think most players really give a fuck about. Because they don't obsess every day about simulations and games the way professionals in the development community do. Yeah. So, like,
it's still just a bummer. It's just
I'm totally with you.
I'm looking for
exactly. I get why so they named one of the things about that game that's interesting to me because I'm weird is that they named the engine for that game the Glassbox engine. And one of the things that, again, I don't think most gamers know, and I'm not like dissing them, but like this doesn't come up often, is that when thinking about simulations, there's a common kind of critical perspective on that I'm not upset at, but is kind of concerned with simulations because they're black boxes. Because if you're playing a simulation, you don't get to see how a simulation runs, and players just tend to be like, oh, hey, this is how life works, right? Like, you lower taxes, people are happy. And in a black box simulation, that's what happens. There's an abstraction between people and happiness and all of that stuff. And so I think that their goal was like, fuck that, we're going to make a really super accurate simulation that's a glass box, that, contrary to this black box stuff, it's going to be really visible. Everything that happens is going to be simulated and visible. And I get that, and that's cool, but who cares besides like weirdos like me, you know?
Well, the one thing I do find interesting about the small cities type of thing is that they have made it's pretty much impossible to have one city be the perfect city, as it used to be, which is kind of more like real life, I suppose, in that like you cannot make all of your 100% of your population happy.
Yeah,
which is the way real life works.
I think it was Daniel Joseph. I don't know if any of you guys know him on Twitter, but he said the same thing, which is like, hey, if this game is making it really hard to make perfect cities, well, guess what? Like, maybe it's a super good simulator because...
I saw the, like, it was the Ars Technica write-up of it on launch day that was, like, complaining a lot about how hard it was to tell what the problem was, and I'm like, I don't know, man, that sounds like a real simulation of being a mayor.
Yeah.
Of like, I don't entirely get everything that I can't understand why my people are unhappy all the time. And I don't entirely.
If you have to say, do you want to go down the route of like having to simulate a city council that you have to get all your decisions approved by, and it's like SimCity is already taking leaps of faith, I suppose.
Right. Well, and the thing that's crazy too, and the Idle Thumbs guys brought this up a few weeks ago, is no mayor in the history of the world has ever had as much information as SimCity mayor.
Yeah.
You have a super accessible, super well visualized, immediate real-time information that no real mayor has ever had the beauty of working with, and your city still can't be perfect. So, good job, you know.
I do remember seeing that that thing someone posted online of them discovering like the perfect layout for a city in SimCity 3000, and it was like this crazy like circular thing with like did anyone else see this?
I don't think I saw this.
No.
It was they claim to have spent like thousands of hours researching
a circular city does make sense though, because you can have the most efficient transport that way.
They claimed it was like thousands of hours research of SimCity 3000 cities and stuff, and it was like this weird, it was like a circular city with all these like tiny blocks, and like each block was like 1/3 industrial, 1/3 residential, 1/3 commercial, or something like that. It was really weird.
kind of neat. I like that idea.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm looking for, is making the most efficient city that you possibly can. And it's like in the new SimCity, it seems to be the most efficient city is like 3 or 4 cities.
Okay, guys,
Right.
I just have this
so
one dude
close.
left. He's like the guy with the big gun, and he's so far away.
All right, you can do it, Phil. I believe in you.
I just thought,
Get
Phil,
all your health
Phil.
back.
All you need to do, just replace your roads with railroads.
yeah.
Fuck you.
Can you should be like wait a minute?
Max,
You can't have-
It's only when you can like buy arcologies and that kind of stuff, right?
You can, but that stuff is the arcologies are region works. They're like you and 3 others or 2 other cities or whatever have to work on those all together.
And
I don't know how you're gonna deal with that dude, Phil. Wait, you got
Hey,
it.
Phil.
What? Oh no,
I
you didn't.
almost had it. I was so close.
and do
Phil,
they have like,
So fucking close.
Idea.
I don't want your ideas.
What if you try to take that person out by shooting a bullet through them?
He's wearing all
Where
sorts
is
of armor and shit. I'd have to shoot multiple bullets.
what if you just threw a bullet at him and didn't actually use a gun?
That's a good point.
Someone says, "I think you can run past that dude in a pinch."
I can try. I can totally
baby.
try.
Now, does the new SimCity have like what the old ones did, where you could where they would take like real life cities issues and then you would have to like dig yourself out of a hole?
I haven't
type
seen
of
that, like
thing?
a challenge mode.
Yeah, those
situation.
were like there was one in
don't
SimCity
think so.
2000 where the whole city was flooded. And you
Yeah,
had,
I think-
like 3 years to make, or 10 years to make it a good city again.
I think there is that. I think I remember seeing something where like the city starts being overrun by zombies, which is a new disaster they added.
Yeah, I did. That seems kind of cool.
Oh,
And the,
man.
An interesting, like a funny little touch is that the Godzilla-style monster that comes and destroys the city now is a spore monster.
Oh. Well, so that's the other thing that's kind of important, quote unquote, to remember about this, is that this is the Spore team, right? Like,
Oh, so
Really?
they're used to not
Yeah,
going into depth as
that's-
they possibly can.
Oh.
like think about the ways
You want
that
to you want to talk
mod-
about disappointing games from Maxis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is
Holy
no way
crap.
that it could be disappointing with as hyped as it was, and as broadly and grandly as it was described.
Well, yeah, but I think it was even disappointing for people that had realistic expectations.
Yeah, it was a bummer, just because it had an ending, I guess. It had, like,
But
I don't know, it was too...
I don't think anything leading up to the ending was particularly great, though.
Right.
It was just weird. It wasn't... It was a game, not a simulation.
How many years do you guys think this is? There's no way for you guys to know this, but for anybody to know this, how many years before we get like that sort of hype level for something again? Do you think? How long before we forget? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
You know,
I have no idea how long it will be, but I don't think it's.
See it
impossible.
happening again sometime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Especially with all this next generation bullshit. Like, something is going to get overhyped to preposterousness before
Then again, though, I
Can't wait.
Killzone 3. I mean, who knows, when some more GTA 5 information leaks out, this thing could get, like, crazy.
don't know.
I mean, Spore was a whole different animal, though.
Yeah, Spore was.
It was.
totally something else, and I think it was like I can name plenty of like sort of rock star game developers, like game developers that everybody knows their name, but like none that are like Will Wright.
Right, and none that produced. So part of the reason I think that the Spore hype worked so well was that hype wasn't just fan hype. It wasn't just like
Yeah.
it was journalists who game writers. I don't use the word taken in because it seems like I'm not trying to say that Will Wright's a con man or anything, right? But they really loved those presentations that Will Wright gave. Everybody really was hoping that this thing would be amazing. And they're
Guys, let's talk about how Will Wright is a con man.
You heard it here first.
History of making in-depth, simulation-heavy, good experiences. I mean, it's not like
He's-
Peter Molyneux who
Right,
has lived up to his hype ever.
Everybody has gotten cynical about Molyneux. So
It's like, dude, it's like Will Wright. He made SimCity and The Sims. He
Right.
can do anything.
And Sim Earth. That game was amazing.
and he worked on Sim Golf. So
That was Sid Meier.
it was both of them.
It was both of them.
Both of them?
It was mostly Sid Meier, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still cool to be able to say both of them worked on a thing.
It takes more than one incredible game designer to make Sim Golf.
That's a good point.
We just need to work on SimCity 6 and just like make it for real. and then you can war with other civilizations outside of your city.
Yeah, that's
like city on city war, Mad Max style.
Yeah,
okay, I'm actually all for that.
Yeah.
I just want a Mad Max game now, like a rad post-apocalypse.
Well, did you not play the one for Commodore 64? Come on.
I guess not. Whoops.
One of the first games I ever played was Mad Max for Commodore 64. It wasn't that great. Spoiler.
Some people in the chat were throwing out examples like Zelda for Wii U, or like Watch Dogs, but like still like
not
like the scope of the scope that was promised for Spore was insane, and it was kind of like and it kind of felt like
life.
Yeah, it kind of felt like Will Wright was maybe like the only person you would have believed could. I don't know. It was weird.
It was like, oh, this is more than a video game. You guys don't understand. Like, it was that. It was crazy. Like, I don't know how many people in the chat were paying obsessive attention to games journalism at the time, but like everybody.
And I mean, like, it was
into that hole.
It was Will Wright was like giving these like crazy presentations at everything at like GDC and at like Comic-Con and like everything, and it was always the presentations were just always like holy shit, look at what he's doing.
Right.
Like, yeah, every single presentation was, guys, you won't believe this shit. And
I don't really like this part.
We were unable to believe what actually came out.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they just spent years and years and years making systems and like could never figure out how to make a game out of it, and just kind of threw it together. Like, I guess this is the best we got.
Systems up. You know, like that's the other thing is that the systems. It was just kind of like transition moment. Like
I mean, that's part of it. But I mean, even on their own, those all felt like really shallow games.
Right.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like even with its like incredibly diminished scope from what was promised of just like you play this game, then this game, then this game, then this game, then you're in space. Like even like all those games sucked.
Right.
Yeah. The character creator was pretty awesome though.
Yeah. But even that, you know, it was, but it like you had to do any kind of like evolutionary changes to the character yourself. Like it was a game about evolution in which the character did not evolve.
Right. Intelligent design, you know.
Yeah.